Grand Rising YouTube. Coming out of Detroit. Detroit's HPTV, and D-Rack Media. I chose this topic. And no, before I start, when you come into the room and come into it, like, share, and subscribe to the video. We have to break YouTube's ability to shadow ban and their ability to create whatever narrative they want on social media platforms. And I picked this title and this topic because I want you to think about this. Think about it before you go to church tomorrow. This is watch it through the night and share. We all know that God created the universe. If you're a Muslim, Allah created the universe. And the universe is infinite and it's constantly expanding. Man and the powers that be created the metaverse. But the metaverse is not created by God. So it's not infinite, it's finite. It's finite, which means it only has a certain amount of space that can be occupied. A certain amount of gigabytes, a certain amount of terabytes that take up space in the metaverse. And what you're watching is a clash of the titans. You're watching before your very eyes the battle of Armageddon, the battle in the sky. The battle in the sky was always going to be the battle over the human mind. What people were going to think. That's the battle in the sky. And it says the devil controlled the air. He was the prince of the air. He's the prince of the airwaves. So how does that factor into us as bloggers? See, us as bloggers, we don't have the constraints of Hollywood. We don't have the pressures of Hollywood. And we have a 6 billion people audience. So they got to shadow ban us to keep certain truths from coming out. They just told you about Queen Elizabeth II dying and Haitians and black people celebrating. She is the queen of Karens. She is the first Karen. She is the mother of colonialization. She is the mother of white supremacy. She is the mother of oppression of people of color. That's how they got in the Caribbean. That's how they got into the slave trade. Through her family, through her generations, through her fathers and her grandfathers. She is the mother of Karens. There's no way a black person should even be crying or even concerned. You see what she did with Megan? Do you think in her mind that she wanted a biracial child possibly being the heir to the throne of England? That flies in the face of 1,000 years of monarchy. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about how the love of the queen is like the love of the image of a white Jesus. And the word Jesus is Greek. Black people argue up and down about the color of Yeshua, Ibn Yusuf, in Palestine. They argue up and down. It don't matter what color he is. Then why did they make Charleston Heston white like Moses? Why they keep painting him white if what his color looks like don't matter? See, color matters in how they portray him, because if they portray him in his true color and say his real name, how would they make you feel inferior when you created the image and likeness of God? So it matters. Everything matters in this war in Armageddon, in this battle of the human mind. I know a lot of my followers and subscribers, my core subscribers, like to share this video. Those that just peeking in, this message might not even be for you. But those who have been following me and can go back through the catalog and analogs of what I've been broadcasting, you can see the narrative, you can trace the facts. You actually have black people crying over the death of the queen of colonialization, the queen of oppression, the queen of white supremacy. Hands down. You just seen that what she did with Meghan. Now, you got Tiffany Haddish. And Hollywood is trying to save her at the expense of Aries Spears. Can't do that. Black people, you know, Tiffany was the one who knew those kids, and Tiffany was the one that got them, and Tiffany was the one that went over and did that. Tiffany is the real culprit. And if you think about how crass and how ghetto and how ratchet she really is, you can see why Hollywood is protecting her. Because that's the image they want of the black woman, while they scrap and destroy the black man through the narrative. So let's get it. Bloggers against Hollywood. Bloggers against mainstream media. Guess what? We report the news faster through our phones, through our laptops, through our MacBooks. We can tell you, don't drive down I-75. It just was a shooting before the news can tell you. Just like on my podcast, I reach out and I talk to the families of a lot of people who are victimized, and the news is saying one thing. I had an incident when they said the sister came home from work and she fell asleep at the wheel and she was driving and she crashed. No, she was being robbed. When they tell you about Zambresia and these other sisters and things that happen to them, the media is painting the narrative like everybody in the black community is savage, until I showed you about that meth lab blowing up and what's going on. And you can best believe that it's race soldiers creeping into every neighborhood, doing initiations and executing black people as a part of their program and as a part of what they're pushing as an agenda. So you're going to get these from the bloggers. They're trying to censor us. They're trying to shadow ban us. YouTube and Facebook, they saying all these things that we can't say and what we can't do and conspiracy theories because they want to silence us. Because you know what happened? It's the same thing that happened with baseball. Baseball was a white sport until Jackie Robinson. Golf was a white sport until Arthur Ashe and Tiger Woods. Tennis was dominated by white people until Serena and Venus. Basketball, the same way, into Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Harvard was the epitome of legal excellence until Barack Obama became the first black president of Harvard Law. Johnny Cochran. Everything that they give us or they allow us in, we dominate. The only reason we don't dominate hockey is because we don't like to ice skate. We like to roller skate. But if we like to ice skate, we'll be on there beating the brakes off of them with those hockey sticks and with those hockey pucks. So now it comes to the universe and the metaverse and the Clash of the Titans. All you need is iPhones and MacBooks, and you create your own broadcasting system, your own broadcasting network, and you start changing and creating the narrative. It's a clash. They want you to keep listening to Cynthia G. And just think about Cynthia G and her audience. Her audience celebrated the death of Kevin Samuels as if his opinion made his death insignificant or ignominious or trivial because he had an opinion. What do you think black men is going to do when Cynthia G dies? You think we're going to miss her? You think we want to miss her, tell us how we ain't shit and how we don't do this, and you think we really going to miss her? Cynthia G is the one that got brothers riding past you at the gas station and not helping you. Cynthia G is the one that got gas, not trying to help you fix a flat tire. Cynthia G is the one that got black men unwilling to protect you in any form or fashion unless you immediately close to them. You got to be their wife or their daughter. Other than that, they're going to drive past you. Cynthia G has left you open to all outside invaders and intruders. And that's why every day you see a black woman coming up missing or black girl, because the very men that you say won't protect you, who can protect you and be between you and the beast, you want to dog him because you're listening to her. As if you really think that you can divest into white supremacy and give them those mulatto and octoroon babies. You threaten them with genetic annihilation when you say that, and you don't wonder why they go to the grocery store and shoot women as soft targets. You don't wonder why you can be sitting in the car and somebody's... You don't threaten a black man when you say you divested. You don't threaten us. You threaten white supremacy just because of your melanin. Do you really think that they're going to let you infiltrate into their society with your dominant genetics and your melanin and reshape the direction of evolution? You don't read enough. You don't really read enough, black people. You don't read enough. Every time y'all come out and y'all say y'all going to divest, it's somebody the Klan hood, and it's somebody in the Aryan Nation, and it's somebody in one of the white supremacist groups saying that they're going to kill you before they let you do that. And the very man that you dogging is going to get out the way because we can't afford to die for tools of the enemy. This is the metaverse that we're dealing with inside of a universe. We're inside of God's plan while man has a plan. And this is why the bloggers are taking on Hollywood. And the bloggers are taking on mainstream media. And they trying to shadow ban us. They trying to tune us out as if we don't have a message. Think about this message, what I just told you. Queen Elizabeth was the queen of white supremacy. The queen of a monarchy that colonialized the whole planet. She was the original prototype for Karen. How could you shed a tear? You're supposed to be like the Oompa Loompas, or no, not the Oompa Loompas, what they call in the Wizard of Oz. The Munchkins, who celebrate, hee ho, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. That's how you're supposed to feel, but you're a coward because you think that Jesus is white. And you think that the angels is white. And you think that God is white. So when a white person with some power or some type of authority passes, you act as if you know them. You cry more for them than your uncle that's on the corner that just got hit by a car. Us bloggers, we're going to change that narrative. We drowning them out. And guess what? Tiffany Haddish ain't getting away with this. There's no way we're going to let her off the hook. No matter how much you try to throw Aries Spears under the bus, he going and she's going too. She's going the way of Jada with Will. because the black race can't afford them no more. We can't afford all that timing and cooning and buffoonery and that selling out and that white narrative that they're trying to create. This is actual and factual. When you look at Jada Smith and you see how she's been canceled, they trying to save Tiffany Haddish, and she won't be saved. Social media is dragging her. The metaverse is powerful because we control algorithms. All these things is algorithms. Algorithms control your life. You think that you have an idea or you influenced by something that you've read or you've experienced when you really being controlled by somebody else's content. Another digital creator. Somebody else being God in the metaverse. Aren't you tired of that? You have white people playing God in the world and painting the angels and Jesus white and all of that. Painting the Egyptians white. Painting Moses white. Painting everything around you Caucasian. And keep you in oppression. In the real world. Now you're going to let them control the metaverse? Smart people, smartphones in the hands of dumb people? I see dumb people every day with smartphones. Don't even know how to work the phone. But they sure know how to be influenced by it. How you going to be influenced by something that you can control, but you can't even control it? The phone has more control than you. You get to panicking. What's wrong with my phone? Where my phone at? But then somebody asks you to do something where you can't do it. You're a consumer. A mental slave. And the bloggers have took up against Hollywood and mainstream media about who's going to control the narrative, who's going to control the battle of Armageddon, which is always the battle of the human mind and what people will believe, because you're going to act and function based on a belief. How you believe shows in your actions. If you see black people killing each other and hating each other because they believe in their heart and in their minds that they have no value, they're programmed that way. They're programmed. Do you really think that they give these sisters these jobs and these factories lifting all this heavy stuff because they think that they're strong enough to do it? They just wanted to flip who the breadwinner was. Do they think they're smarter than a black man? No. They just wanted to flip the narrative because that divides the home. And if the home is divided, a house that's divided cannot stand. So you see this manosphere and these men like Anton Daniels and all these other men that's coming out against sisters in a thing. But the sisters came out first. Do you honestly think that you can keep talking about how men ain't shit and how they not this and they not that, and you can be safe in a man's world? This is a man's world. No matter what you've been taught. You see who's running Russia? Vladimir Putin. You see who's running China, Korea, the Arab Emirates, Africa? They have, and those countries have totally lost respect for America. But that's not even the kicker. The kicker is that white supremacists and the Ku Klux Klan know that you threaten them with genetic annihilation, so they're destroying your wombs and giving you breast cancer and giving you everything else and allowing your kids to kill you. Your kids are killing you now. All over Detroit, all over Atlanta, all over the country. Your kids, your teenage kids are killing their mothers and their grandmothers. What did Pac say? You're going to produce the babies that hate the ladies. You're not hurting us, if that's what you think when you say you're going to divest. Because we already know white men ain't embracing you. Chinese ain't embracing you. Russians ain't embracing you. Arabs not embracing you. You want to fight the whole world. You even want to fight the LGBTQ community. You are being destroyed. And you're really fighting God with your black girl magic. Don't get mad because it's a way out. Think about what you're seeing. Process it. It's coming from somewhere. It's not homogenous for black people to be at each other's throat like that. It's not homogenous. Do you know that during slavery and when we were under oppression, there was no history documented of us killing each other? That's because we knew who the enemy was. So whatever our disagreements was, it never led us down a path of self-destruction. They have created a deadly algorithm. And I want to shout out Star Report, Hassan Campbell, Trenches News out of Chicago, AK-47 out of Ohio, Crimson Cure out of Chicago, Kwame Brown out of Georgia, Queen Amadaya out of Georgia. I'm not going to shout out Michi yet. She's too ignorant and she's too ghetto, and she's always claiming Detroit, and she's a tragic mulatto. And being from Detroit, I know no tragic mulatto got that much feist and ferocity in these streets with these black girls. You got a white mama, you wasn't doing nothing in the hood but being passed around. So don't rep Detroit with all that ghetto macho stuff, because Detroit ain't even made up like that. For real. And I'm not trying to take no shots at nobody, but Detroit is not a city where you can be a tragic mulatto in a mixed breed like that and rep. You can't rep nothing. You can't rep the east side, you can't rep the west side, and if you go out to southwest Detroit, that's Mexicans. Dearborn, that's Arabs. So that whole act, I'm from Detroit and this, that, and other, that is all that is an act. It's an act. And that's why she's over the top, ignorant in what she says. Everything has to be vulgar, because she's not in tune with what it's like to be black. How could you be when your mama was white? You nursed from the breast of the enemy. And now you want to dictate how we move forward in the metaverse because you're talking slick and people don't know about Detroit culture. That's why I'm repping Detroit, and being the voice of Detroit. I'm telling you what God loves. I'm telling you the truth. Don't know tragic mulattoes and run nothing here. Nothing. You know what I mean? We embrace Eminem. You know why we embrace Eminem? Because Eminem was across 8 Mile, and Eminem raps about who he is. Eminem don't rap about being YBA. Eminem don't rap about being 18. Eminem don't rap about being no street guy from Detroit. He raps about who he is, living on 8 Mile, and we embrace him because he's telling the truth about who he is. Eminem is more genuine and authentic than Drake. Drake is a tragic mulatto from Canada. And sits up and raps against somebody like Meek Mills. If you watch the video when he was rapping against Meek Mills, and I can't think of the name of it now. And Meek Mill said There's not a neighborhood in Philly that I can't go because he's from Philly. And he was talking about how everything that Drake raps is cap. It's cap. And it sounds good. But it's not genuine. It's not authentic. He knows nothing. Absolutely zero about the things he rap about. Nothing. So he has some good writers or whatever, and the music is good. But what we're talking about on this podcast is what's real. We got to pull a veil back and show that it's a puppet master around here controlling y'all through the metaverse. Did y'all even see how subtle the change was from Facebook to Instagram and all that with the metaverse? And now you see all these grandmas TikToking. You know what I mean? You know, you look on their page, they got their babies and their grandkids, and next thing you know, they twerking for likes and views, whatever. How these kids got a chance? For real. I'm talking about, and then even when you talk about Ari Spears and what he said about Lizzo, they don't care how. It was a time when you was growing up and you was like, you know, she too big to wear that or whatever. People would say that. Now they like, I can be as vulgar and as provocative as I want to be. And you can. And your kids can be as violent and as crazy as they want to be, and they're being that. And that's why you see the violence and the death that you see. You see in the wages. You know, women used to be able to leave with, I got a good job. How much that job pay? I make $20-something an hour. That ain't no money no more. A loaf of bread costs $5. A dozen eggs costs $5. A gallon of gas almost $5. After taxes, you making what they was making years ago as far as your ability to purchase, making $10. And that's what you leave with? While you lease your car, rent your house, buy everything on credit. You got to do the math on these things. I got a cousin. And I'm going to talk about it because, you know, she don't do the right thing with nothing or whatever. I ain't going to say her name, but she got a $20 raise. I mean, you got a raise up to $20. Got a house, and the rent was $1,200. Got a car note that was $500. And because it was new, mandatory insurance was another $300. That's $2,000. And you ain't bought no food, no gas, pay no lights, pay nothing. Perpetual debt. Perpetual psychological slavery. Your phone used to then be turned off before you got the raise. You got the raise and thought you could do something. Now your phone is always turned off. We act like we can't count. We act like we can't read. We act like we can't discern. And I started this with this is God's universe. Man created a metaverse. Man created these algorithms, these dangerous algorithms. Man has become the biggest influence in your life. I had people argue me down about the Bible. Did I ask them, what does the word on the cover mean? What does the word Bible mean? They give me some old explanation or whatever, and I say, the word Bible comes from the word biblios. Biblios was a place in Phoenicia that grew papyrus. Everything that was written on papers was called Bible because Bible means books. Then it says King James. Do you know anything about King James? King James was a flaming sissy that hated women. Him, Shakespeare, and Francis Bacon. Philippians, Galatians, and all of that, those are places in Greece. And then you wonder why the priests like boys. Greek ideology. The Greeks. And these are historical facts. And in the Bible it says, my people perish from a lack of knowledge. And because they have rejected knowledge, they have been rejected. You reject the ability to know the truth. You reject the real ability to be spiritual and to know God because you're so comfortable with being slaves. And God has rejected you. And he's allowing your children to kill you, your children to die in front of you. And are you still not entertained? I look at all the topics. Do men date anymore? With the prices it is, a man know how much it costs to take himself out to eat, how much gas he gonna spend. What he like trying to just give you a free meal? Like you hold yours in your pocket and then you get a doggy bag and take the rest of that back and give it to the kids so you don't gotta cook all on some game. Nobody dates anymore. It's not even the society that you've allowed them to direct you into. This stuff is controlled by the metaverse. It's controlled through algorithms and trending. I'm gonna ask you, the few people that's in here right now, hit the like button. Give me a fighting chance against the other YouTuber that's down there talking about how much he hate women that's gonna get your daughter snatched up or get your daughter knocked in the head because he's promoting hate. He getting more views than me right now. Or the ones that's print manifestos. They're getting more views than me. Because the cognitive dissonance and the benign neglect has reached a fever pitch to where you have automatically nullified any blessings or any real spirituality. We rocking out. We rocking out in Chicago. We rocking out in Atlanta. We rocking out in California. We rocking out all around this country, destroying each other. We destroying each other's reputations, futures, spirits, everything. Because we refuse to acknowledge that there's a puppet master. There's somebody pulling the strings, controlling things. And that's the very essence of when you see black people crying over Queen Elizabeth. That's like crying over the ending of the Ku Klux Klan. Could you imagine that? You like Samuel Jackson and Django. For real. These algorithms are deadly. Because I'm going to go back to my topic. God created a universe. And there's universal order. Man created the metaverse with his devilish self where there's no order. Anything goes. So you're more under the influence of the men and people who created the metaverse than you are of the God that created the universe. And you still say you're blessed. Do you look blessed? When you look on TV, do you look blessed? When your bishops is people like Eddie Long and T.D. Jakes and then people that you follow, this Umar Johnson and his whole speech. Go in the community section, go in my community section, look at what Umar Johnson is saying. He done got to the point to where he don't even try to act like he has a level of consciousness or he woke. He just say donation, 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 and you give it to him. He don't even say nothing. I mean, he don't even pander to black women. He don't even say nothing y'all like. That's how insignificant your opinion got. He don't even say anything that y'all could use. He just call you five, thick in the thighs. My sister, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. And then he say, donation, donation. And you hit your pocketbook. But the same shit talking about, I ain't gonna give a nigga shit. Really? You letting that nigga go pimp you long distance. He can't even cut the grass. He can't even take the trash out. He can't even take your car to the car wash. He can't even put no air in your tire. He ain't even gonna be around even shovel your snow because it's gonna be the coldest winter ever. You don't want no covering this winter? How starving these boys is out here? And it start getting dark at 5. Where you gonna go and get gas? You gonna do everything in the daylight, huh? You better. And you better do it outside the hood because the fever pitch is at an all-time high. But you don't want no covering. You gonna leave it to God? You don't even worship God. You would become enemies of God. You worship man. You worship things. You can't be that slow to think that God is gonna bless you when you really worship the devil and have become demons. Your kids say they on demon time. They give you a demon emoji. Really? You want to send some more of them bastards down the timeline talking about they got their wings when they wasn't shit? They was around there robbing such and such and such and such when they got their wings? Is that how it is? That's how slow we're going to be. Instead of taking control of this new black media, taking control of a narrative that we can create and construct. Or your grandkids, then you're gonna then that's when you're gonna be on somebody's timeline talking about, have you seen this person? Or pray for my. No, you don't care about nobody else's family. You don't care about nothing. Eating, getting high, screwing. Keep it real. Keep it real and be honest that you ain't no different than the drill rappers. You ain't no different than the people that you want to tear down because they got more than you. I'd rather be a content creator and an influencer than to be the ones on the receiving end of all the bullshit. That's what I can tell you. Because the idiot box and the idiots, when I was growing up, my daddy used to call the TV the idiot box. The idiots with these phones right now, I'm talking about their level of idiocy is that they almost like, they definitely special ed. They definitely special ed. Times 2. But they can function. They can function enough to punch a clock. They can function enough to respect that white man at their job. They can do all that. Because they're the perfect slaves. The perfect slaves. Can't get no better slaves than these. So, I don't want to keep you guys this long because you know what they say? In the algorithm and in the metaverse, they say your attention span ain't long enough to even give you real stuff. They've already calculated how long before you just check out. You don't listen, just like when you were in school, you don't listen long enough to even get the message. So a person got to be quick. But I want you to start looking into what it means to have a metaverse, what it means to deal with algorithms. What does it mean to be trending? These words seem innocuous, but they're controlling your life. And that's why you're seeing the level of violence that you're seeing, because that's what you log on to. And what you log on to changes the algorithm. And that's what you're going to see more of. Supply and demand. You have a demand for debauchery, a demand for all this filth. And that's why you're getting the full brunt of it. It's like looking at a car wreck. You can't look away. You just want to look at the accident. You the accident now. I didn't mean to even keep you guys this long. Like and share the video. Subscribe and share. Signing out to Detroit. Peace out. You better keep that head on the swivel.